Assalamu alaikum my brothers and sisters. Today we're gonna talk about applying Quran in daily life. The Quran is a book of guidance for all humanity which can easily be made understandable to anyone through its translations. However, all the things the Quran has to offer can be discovered only through contemplation. Contemplation or tadabbur opens the door of Quranic treasure of knowledge. There are two layers of Quranic learning. One is understanding its literal meaning, and the second is understanding its more profound meaning and its application in daily life. If you want to know the message of the Quranic only, then knowing its literal meaning will suffice. To find the deeper meaning of the Quran, besides developing a seeking spirit and sincerity, we need to contemplate its verses. Then we must extract principles of life from these verses and apply them in our daily life. How can we apply the Quran in our daily life? If we read the Quran, we will feel that God Almighty directly addresses man in it, saying, "O man, this is your God addressing you. Listen to me and follow it. This is the path of success for you." It is as if at any moment we as readers of the Quran can consult its writer, God Almighty, put our questions to him and receive answers. As man's creator, God directly hears and answers man's call. When we connect with God, we develop a life attachment to the book of God. The Quran becomes a source of inspiration and spiritual nourishment in our life. All our thoughts and actions spring from the Quran. The Quran becomes the very life and soul of our existence. It is the way of applying the Quran in our daily life. The best story. In chapter 12, the Quran narrates a story which it calls the best of stories. It is about the prophet Joseph who lived in Palestine with his father and stepbrothers. When Joseph was in his teens, his stepbrothers became jealous of him. They contrived to throw him into a dry well situated in a forest, but God came to his rescue. A caravan spotted him in the well and pulled him out. Later they sold him as a slave in an Egyptian market. That was how he traveled from Palestine to Egypt. Luckily his master was a courtier of the Egyptian king. As for his religion, the king was an idol worshipper, while Joseph, who belonged to the family of Abraham, was a believer in the oneness of God. After some years, when Joseph reached the age of maturity, he came in contact with the king. The king, greatly impressed by his personality and wisdom, offered him a high office in his government. In present terms, this was the equivalent of being the minister of agriculture. According to the biblical narration, the Egyptian king said, "You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." Joseph accepted this offer and successfully managed the agricultural affairs of the land at a time when there was a severe drought in Egypt and the surrounding areas. People became so happy that they accepted him as their hero. After narrating this story, the Quran says, "God doesn't waste the reward of those who do good, who are righteous and steadfast." What qualities did Joseph possess which elevated him to this high status? After reading his story as given in the Quran, we can summarize these qualities. Joseph's brothers hatched an evil plot against him which was intended to cause his death, but Joseph never developed any kind of hatred or feelings of revenge towards them. Instead, he forgave them and gave them a warm welcome in Egypt, as mentioned in the Quran. Second, the caravan of traders sold him as a slave in the Egyptian market, but he never protested the caravan. He never said that he was a human being and that they were using him as a marketplace commodity. Third, when in Egypt, he never created any problems for his master or the king. And the last, he remained patient with the culture of idol worshippers that was prevalent in Egypt at that time. Following the principle of avoidance of conflict, he availed the opportunity given to him by the Egyptian ruler. This was a qualities mentioned both in the Quran and the Bible that helped him to rise to such a high status. There was a time when I wasn't a Muslim yet, and honestly, I was lost. I was searching for meaning, for something real, but nothing truly filled that emptiness inside. Then I started learning about Islam, and slowly everything began to change. I started to see the world differently, with clarity, peace, and purpose. And now when I sometimes hear people say that Islam today is different, I can only smile, because the truth is, Islam hasn't changed. We have, but if we bring the Quran back into our lives, we will once again find peace, meaning, and direction. Because Islam isn't a religion of the past, it is a path for every day.